The headlines: hotel workers to get a pay increase. ANSA McAL still pining for a piece of the bank's group. And Barbados nears global targets on HIV treatment. Welcome to Nation News for Wednesday, December the 9th, 2015. After holding strain for some time, hotel workers are to get a pay increase of 8% over 3 years. CEO of the Hotel and Tourism Association, Sue Springer, made the announcement just days before the start of the winter season. The agreement is retroactive to December the 15th last year, with workers set to get 2.5% in the first and final years and 3% in the second. Negotiations will continue with the Barbados Workers Union on how the retroactive payment will be made. The hotel sector had been under some pressure to share some of the recent gains in tourism. Having lost out on ownership of banks' holdings, ANSA McAL has signalled its willingness to buy 2 banks' subsidiaries, the Pine Hill Dairy or Banks Distribution, formerly B&B Distribution, if they go on the market. CEO of ANSA McAL Barbados, Nicola Moutet, told a news conference that losing the battle for banks' holdings to Brazilian beer giants Ambev was a huge loss, but the Trinidadian group will continue to look at other acquisitions.
I'm not in a position to say whether or not Ambev is interested in selling off those parts of the business, but certainly if they do decide to sell, I would assume that they would come to the market to sell, unless they decide for some reason to have a private arrangement there. But if they do come to the market, certainly we will consider it. Those are parts of the business that did interest us, because we were interested in all of Banks Holdings businesses, including, as you pointed out, dairy, the juices, the Coca-Cola business. So yeah, we're still interested, and it's possible, depending on what Ambev wants to do, that it could happen, but it's really under Ambev's control.
Principal of Queen's College David Brown is not convinced that co-education has contributed to declining performance among boys. Delivering his report during the school's annual speech day on Tuesday, he said a major study of single-sex classes should be carried out before any changes to the education of both sexes together. Dr. Brown said, however, that a 5-year study was conducted at Queen's College using single-sex classes, and the all-girls class outperformed all the others. He said the results of the study are being analyzed by 2 UWI lecturers.
I would like to see a wider study of single-sex classes in secondary schools in Barbados before any major decision is made in relation to a return to any single-sex schools in the island. We know that there are some people who believe that co-education is the worst thing that has ever happened in Barbados. I don't quite agree, and I don't believe that if we go back to single-sex classes on a wide scale, that would necessarily turn around the performance of males.
Sisters Sandra and Irma Hines will be moving into new homes just in time for Christmas, thanks to the government's social care program. The sisters were relocated temporarily from their previously dilapidated homes in Broomfield in St. Lucie to Lancaster House in St. James. But after a few months away, they will be back at Broomfield by next Tuesday, but in brand new houses. Minister of Social Care Steve Blackett presented the keys to the Hines sisters on Tuesday. CEO of Digicel Barbados, Johnny Ingle, will be leaving the business after 8 years and 6 months at the helm of the local operation. Mr. Ingle said it was an extremely difficult decision to make, but he has family commitments to attend to. He said Digicel Barbados has an exciting future ahead, and he's confident it will be in good hands. Ambassador to CARICOM, Bobby Morris, has urged Caribbean nations to be courageous and embrace the trading opportunities afforded by Cuba. He was speaking during a panel discussion on Tuesday night marking CARICOM Cuba Day and the 43rd anniversary of Barbados-Cuba relations.
Cuba has reached levels that we are not yet able to reach. And therefore, they have stronger capacities, especially in terms of trade, in terms of what they're able to send to us as against what we can send to them. And therefore, I think we have to be courageous and don't try to close our markets against them, but look to see where we can give them opportunities, even as they are opening opportunities to us. So there's that amount of courage that is required. Secondly, where our deficiency in being able to get into their markets is concerned, if we need technical cooperation, they're willing to do that and to give that. If we need help in terms of our infrastructure, Cuba is also willing to give that.
Cuban Ambassador Francisco Fernandez Peña told the forum that Cuba has every intention of deepening ties with its Caribbean neighbors despite moves to normalize relations with the United States. Barbados is close to achieving the 2020 HIV treatment target set by the World Health Organization, according to Senior Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Anton Best. But he says some deficiencies need to be addressed. The global health body is hoping that within the next 5 years, 90% of all people living with HIV will know their status. A similar percentage of all those diagnosed with HIV infection will receive sustained treatment, and that at least 90% of those will have viral suppression. Dr. Best gave an update on Barbados' progress following a meeting of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Caribbean Regional Office on Tuesday.
There are certain key populations in Barbados, certain people that are particularly vulnerable. So we don't quite have the level of access for HIV testing, for instance. There's still a high level of stigma discrimination, generally in healthcare facilities, which prevents people from accessing services. So those are key things that we are focusing on. We're looking to implement strategies so more vulnerable persons can access HIV testing services, for instance. That's the first 90. For the people that we have diagnosed, we do have some challenges keeping them within care for the same reasons of stigma and discrimination.
In sports, Barbados' women suffered an opening round loss to Haiti when the Caribbean Junior Volleyball Championships continued on Tuesday night. Barbados were overpowered 26-24, 15-25, 25-14, 25-22, with coach Patrick Oxley saying the team fell down, especially in serving reception. And finally, women have long complained that those blessed with good looks are more likely to be promoted at work than their less attractive colleagues. However, a new study has found that the opposite may be true of men. Being handsome can actually impede a man's professional progress, experts found, as male colleagues tend to be reluctant to promote those deemed more good-looking than themselves. Researchers from the School of Management of University College London found that those blessed with the looks of George Clooney, for example, the man cited, were considered competent, but as a result, they were perceived as a threat in the workplace. And that's Nation News for Wednesday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Daily Nation on Thursday or subscribe to our e-paper.